world comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
To Raw Recovery and Trudging Together podcast. Welcome to our live version. Usually, and I want to welcome my daughter. Hi, Kira.
Hi.
Same last name, right? Miller like the beer. That's what I tell people. I'm just over here sharing, but this is going to be our live version. I'm putting in recovery stuff, but I mean, it's recovery. I mean, we have to deal with relationships and things like that. But we don't really have anything that I do. We don't really have anything planned. We're just talk about life and what's going on and things like that. Some introductions. Oh, my friends. Are they like my French now, motherfuckers? You remember? Oh God! Of course, now his name just Nick. You remember Big Nick?
Yeah, I do remember. Oh my gosh.
Big Nick. He's the one that used to say that.
That's crazy. I haven't thought about Nick in a long time. Yeah, I remember him.
He's still up to the same old stuff. He doesn't talk to me anymore.
He was a big old teddy bear.
He was, but
he loved me.
He absolutely loves Shannon, and maybe one day he'll get off that hooch. Hi, Amber. Good to see you're driving. I'm glad you're here. Amber's a really good friend of mine. Actually, she reminds me a lot of you, and you're both Virgo. Welcome to Not the Daily Trudge. We have not named this yet. We want to call it the Millers something. So we're going to put it up to vote. If you could come up with a good name to help us out, that would be pretty fucking awesome of you. So if you're here, please say hello. No dead air time. We were getting ready to say something.
Oh, I was saying it needs to be unique. Like I'm looking stuff up now, like family podcast name ideas, and there's a couple that I like.
Okay.
There's like Keeping It in the Family, which is
That sounds too Alabama for me. That sounds like cousins. The Millers, yeah. The Millers are the new Smiths. Right.
Oh God.
I kind of like that. Yeah, I like to kind of use our names though, because we both kind of have unique names, Dion and Kira. They're a little bit unique. So
I feel like we should do something like that kind of not necessarily rhymes with it, but like the Miller something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think once we figure out what we're actually going to talk about and what we do. Yeah, see, even Amber was like, yeah, I was thinking cousins. Yeah. I'm going with orange today because Halloween. But yeah, I think once we figure out kind of what we're talking about, I think mostly what we're talking about is the relationship between a father and a daughter that has been, well, we haven't had the easiest relationship, honey.
Okay, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Miller makeup, like making up, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe something like that.
Do a spin-off of something like that.
Yeah. Maybe not that exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be a catchy name, and it's kind of got to have a rhythm. Raw Recovery, Trudging Together. See, all of those have little indications in
Makeup that. Millers, I don't know.
See, the Millers is just too bland. Yeah. It's too bland.
Yeah, it is.
So
we'll figure it out.
All right. So yeah, I'm going to kind of use this kind of as an interview, even though it's a conversation. So, let's kind of start with us. A lot of people already know me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had met Kira's mother a long time ago. I actually met your mother on AOL, I believe.
I know.
In a chat room, yeah. And she called me like Penis Head or something. I don't remember. She had a nickname for me. She probably still
So,
calls me.
something. Yeah, she's witty.
She is very good with her words. I'll put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, she.
But you know, and it was probably about a year before you were born, I had stopped going to AA, and I was already on the track. I'd already emotionally relapsed by the time I met your mother.
Yeah.
And what kind of sealed the deal, and it's funny, but not the recovered Millers. We're getting closer. We're getting closer.
Working on it.
And my drinking, it started happening. So we actually went on vacation. I went on vacation with the in-laws, with your mom's parents, and I relapsed on a Coors Light, which isn't really cool. But that's kind of what started it all again. And you were not very old. I mean, maybe a year.
Yeah, I was really young. From what I was told.
Yeah, and because of my drinking, your mom and I separated and divorced.
Where did that come from?
The problem is Isaac's like 4.
Oh, that makes more sense now.
Yeah. But Amber's his mother, so
Yeah,
look at us, right? I mean, you two are like a lot alike. She's only like an inch taller than you too. But so, and forgive us if we go here and there. We haven't done this, and it's hard to do. Although Kira and I have talked about this stuff, and we're pretty open. We've gotten through most of our stuff, I think. So we have pretty open conversation.
It's always a continuous thing, but we've definitely come to better terms than we have in the past.
Well, I feel like our communication is a lot better. Kind of like with the kids, we had some miscommunication on drop off, pick up, and in the past that just would have been a fight. But this time it was like, you know what, it got done.
Well,
so
I'd rather, I mean, honesty is just the way to go.
Yeah. Last week we were gonna do this, but I was too tied up. And
what's up, baby? Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
What's up?
They hear Grandpa, so they're gonna want to come in.
Grab the Orajel. Khaleesi has a canker sore.
Aw.
She's like prone to them, so I just put Orajel on her.
Okay. Hey, Daryl. Good to see you. Good to see you, Daryl.
Is it in there?
So
it should be in that little basket thing. Give me 1 second. I gotta go.
I knew you were gonna have to go. I can cover. Trust me. So Kira was, I don't know, I think she was about a year old when her mom and I divorced, and I got to see, and I got her a lot, especially in the beginning, because her mom was moving, things were going on, so I had Kira quite a lot, and but because of my drinking, and because of some decisions that Dion made, I would be an absentee father. Welcome, Benjamin. It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. For just to let people know real quick, my daughter and I, Kira and I, were talking, and we're just talking about, we're doing an introduction, try to podcast with it. It's not really recovery based. Actually, our intention eventually is to make money off of it. I'm going to let you know that, but that money is going to go to places that we support.
Yeah.
So we're not raising money for ourselves, but maybe it'll go to domestic violence. Maybe it'll go to some kind of mental health.
Yeah.
Something that we kind of believe in. That who knows what it'll be. So, yeah, Kira, you kind of grew up without a father. I mean, what was that like? And don't worry about it. We've talked about this, so it might hurt me a little bit, but I'm willing to listen.
It was. Don't make me cry already.
It's okay. We cry here. We cry. It's okay.
It was hard, especially because mom didn't necessarily know how to parent. I mean, I didn't. I got pregnant at 16. Like, I'm not judging anybody here, but
Absolutely.
it
Yeah.
felt very lonely.
Okay.
I think it definitely contributed to my abandonment issues, which is
Sure.
the reason I'm back in therapy. But yeah, I was lonely.
And that's certainly fair.
It's hard to talk about.
It's okay. And you're not even required to talk about it. And I apologize if I asked a question that I shouldn't
No,
have.
you're fine. I'm an
Okay.
open book. I just might cry
Okay.
in the process.
If we don't cry here, then we probably didn't do our job. I
Right.
guarantee I'm going to cry at some point.
What's up, baby? Did you find it? I don't know then. No, I already checked there.
Go check where you left it.
Oh, I found it.
Oh, it was next to the bed.
Yeah. You can say hi. Come here. This is my daughter. One of them.
Hi, Casey. Love you, honey.
Love you too.
Oh. Can you do it, or do you want me to?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see.
Khaleesi is one of my 5 grandchildren. So,
Okay, I know that hurts. Here.
Then there's 2 girls. Her sister is Alice, and then there's Orson, who's the youngest. Forgetting everybody's name right now. All right, let's try and get to where we were. So you were saying that it was lonely and that you felt like it affected your childhood and your family relations.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of many things that affected my childhood, but I think looking back at it, I think it was hurtful to not have you around, and until recently, I was always really upset with you about that.
Yeah.
Like in my head, it's like, why the fuck can't you be here?
Yeah.
Why can't you be here for me? But we all go through our own stuff, and I've realized that, you know what, you were going through your own stuff, and being away actually did me more of a service because you weren't subjecting me to the bullshit that you were going through, as much as it hurts.
Yeah. And that I'm going to have to be honest. And there were times when I was doing that on purpose because, and I'm certain, and I'll let you folks know here, we're not doing excuses. We're just talking fact here.
Yeah.
There was times when I didn't have a place to go.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to tell anybody about that because it was very, very embarrassing for me. And you're right. I did keep you away. And I would say that's like a lesser of 2 evils because neither one's a very good choice.
Yeah.
So,
well,
and I do appreciate you understanding that I was going through something and allowing me to come back and take responsibility for it too.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Well, I mean, the only reason I'm truly able to understand is because past relationship, I was doing my shit and stayed away from the kids because I didn't want them to be around my bullshit, Yeah. So I can completely understand that. It doesn't hurt any less, but
yeah,
there's that understanding,
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason why, like, I didn't necessarily have like a father figure, like biologically, at least for me. I truly believe that like a woman, a mom cannot be the dad,
and vice versa. Correct.
Kids need to have both in their lives, and we can do as much as we can, but they need that. And yeah.
And I'm kind of wondering because for me, since we're talking about dads, I lived with one man who had no love for me.
Yeah.
And then there was a biological father who had nothing wanted. So I didn't understand either. And I I'm going to tell you, I didn't even understand the damage that I was doing to you.
Yeah.
Even though I had gone through it myself.
Yeah.
In my head, it seemed normal. I'm
Well, because that's all
not
you
an excuse. It's just that's how alcoholism kind of works.
Yeah.
And it felt normal to me.
Yeah.
And then there were times when I was doing better and I would have you, but every time, I don't know if you noticed, but Dad would start doing better and then bam, right?
Yeah.
And what I was doing is I was every time I had success, I would pull it down around me so I could continue drinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the one thing that I will forever remember, and not to, bring up old stuff or
It's okay, we're getting past it.
make you feel bad, but I think the one thing, I think I was in like 4th grade or something like that. Me and my mom were living in Glendale,
Mm-hmm.
and she had gotten a voice, like a call from you, and she like didn't see it or anything like that, and you had left a message saying that you were moving to San Diego, and it was like, okay, bye, like peace out. I'm moving on Thursday. I didn't get to see you. I didn't get to talk to you, and that, like,
Okay.
I won't lie, that broke me.
Okay. And I'm gonna tell you what happened. Okay. Because you remember at that point I was living with Shaw.
Yeah.
Right? And I was seeing you every now and again. Well, my drinking had reached a new level.
Yeah.
And I came home one day and everybody moved out of the house without telling me. And somehow I found another apartment that I think you were over at like once in Littleton. And then things fell apart again. And I got an offer to move to San Diego to help with some sales.
Yeah.
But I was going to move. The reason I did it that way, that was actually my goodbye.
I know.
I was moving to California to die. Yeah. I wanted to kill myself. And I thought if I moved out there, it wouldn't hurt people.
You were running away.
Yeah, it was wrong. It was wrong. In fact, I hurt people even more because I disappeared.
Yeah, I don't want to make you cry, but that devastated me.
Hey, if we can't have emotions here, man, then I just don't think we're doing it right.
Look at us, we're both
crying it's cleansing, right?
No, it is.
I'm crying because we don't have to go through that shit anymore. It's a relief kind of a thing.
Just to go off on it has to do with what we're talking about, but did you know there was a scientific study done on like tears specifically?
Yeah.
And so they would take samples of people's tears, I guess, and like the genetic makeup, like they legitimately on a microscopic level, they look different.
Yeah.
So like happy tears look different from sad tears to angry tears. Like it's I'll have to find the study and send it to you, but it's really
we could have a whole podcast on that. That's interesting to know.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know if you heard about this one, but there was also another scientific study. They basically had 2 jars of water in different rooms.
Yeah, I've heard about this one.
Yeah, so with 1 jar of water, they would be, I love you so much, I care about you, and then the other jar would be like, fucking hate you, like talking shit to it. And then like the molecules within both of the waters were completely different.
Yeah, they changed.
It's crazy.
Isn't it amazing how powerful the human mind is?
Well, and then you think that we are 75% water. Like,
and that's the whole point on that is that so when you talk to yourself, because I bring this up quite often, what you say to yourself matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I say I'm an asshole, then that's what I'm gonna be.
That's why positive affirmations are such a big thing, is like you are the creator of your own life. It's kind of a mind-bending thing. It makes me feel like I'm going crazy sometimes when I truly think about shit like this.
Yeah, don't go too far down that rabbit hole.
I try not to.
It's hard not to especially when you find something interesting like that it connects and you
Yeah.
understand it and it just helps you move forward.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's part of waking up too, wake up. Life is not how it seems. We're all indoctrinated and,
right.
Controlled from the very beginning, from kindergarten.
I have a name: breaking generational cycles.
I like that.
Just popped into my head. So
Or breaking cycles.
after I moved to California, and I was there for a year and a half, 2 years, because we're following a story here a little bit, and I'm like,
yeah, sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there.
No. So every now and again, we got to go off on a tangent, or people won't continue to listen. It's just so. And we're Virgos. We're not going to stay on topic.
No.
We're going to talk about 50 different things. It'll make sense at the end. That's how we do.
Pretty much.
So while I was living in California, clearly I was not able to do what I wanted to do. What I was going to do is just party till I was dead. That was the plan. I never even went to the beach while I was there. Yeah, and
really?
I lived like 10 miles from it. But things had gotten even worse while I was there, and you would actually see me. This is when I was 39 years old, and I was I was on I think it was Facebook. Actually, I think it was MySpace. Might have been Facebook. I don't know. One of those two.
I remember.
I got a friend request from Shannon. Now, Shannon, who's my wife, for those of you that do not know, she was my high school sweetheart. Well, I was hers. I didn't go to high school, but I was 17, so high school sweetheart. And she was with me when I got sober the first time and was living on Skid Row, was a big supporter of mine. And I wasn't going to accept her friend request because I was just too embarrassed.
Yeah.
I had a lot of respect for Shannon. She was the one person that I met. If there was anybody I was going to pick that I could have back, it would have been her.
She's a saint.
I fell in love with her the day I saw her. I just knew. Because I've always been able to see auras, and hers was like this orangey yellow pink thing, but it was all positive, and I just fell in love with her immediately. And so anyway, and I actually stalked her for 3 months, but who wouldn't want to be stalked by me? Come on. Like
That's
pretty much anyone, Dion. Yeah, so later on, and I went ahead and I accepted the friend request because, like you were saying, I was lonely, very lonely. I mean, I was at my end. There wasn't anybody that really wanted to be around me. I didn't have any friends in California. And, I just had another botched relationship. But it was weird because my sister called me. My sister Brandy called me. And she said, Dion, usually I tell you that your picker's broken. But this time I tell you, no, your picker's fine. Don't worry. It was a very Al-Anon thing to say. And then in like 2-3 days, Shannon got a hold of me. Within 2 weeks, we were back together, and I moved back out to Colorado, and I would actually get all of my kids back.
Breckenridge.
Yeah. First was vacation for Breckenridge, and then I moved back.
Yeah.
About a week before my 40th birthday. And we've been together since. But, I mean, it would be, 6-7 years before I got sober. It'd be 6 more years before I got sober.
Oh, yeah, because I was, 12?
Yeah, you were 12. You were in middle school when I came back.
That's so crazy to look back on. I thought I was older than that. But, yeah,
No.
I was around 12. That was the first time that I had truly, actually met Shay.
Yeah, he was in the group home.
Yeah.
And we would go and visit him and bring him his
he wasn't in the group yet.
Yeah. And then Caden was born about that time too.
I think that was when I was 14 or 15. It was a couple years after.
It was about a year later. But even then, you know, we would still get my aura as an asshole. Amber, you're such a shithead. Right, because we were talking about auras. Don't call yourself an asshole. Yeah.
I didn't even see that till just now. I mean, my shirt literally says,
Yeah, what does it say?
straight out of patience.
Straight out of patience.
I also have another shirt that says, I don't have the time to act like I like you today.
Daryl says, you know, it's like a
you.
country western song began to play backwards. Oh, thank you, Amber. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. This is actually how we kind of talk. So, because we have a lot of the same views. During that time, I mean, we had different things, but really you were getting into high school and boys and things.
I was just a little shit, honestly.
You were a little shit. More for your mom. So I remember when you came to stay with us for like a week because your mom had enough of you.
Oh, she was pissed.
And
pissed about something.
You came over, and I didn't even bother locking the fucking door because I knew you were gonna go. I didn't bother locking it.
I don't think I ever told you how I did that.
I didn't care. I knew you were gonna do it, so I wouldn't got a good night. But yeah, let's hear the story. Let's hear it.
That was when I was like 8 months pregnant with Allie. When you guys were living in Arvada or something.
Yeah, we had that really nice townhome. That one. That's where you stayed with me for that week.
Oh, I didn't sneak out that time.
Well, I woke up and you weren't there.
That was the not the really nice one in Arvada. That was when I was 8 months pregnant and shit was going on with Noah.
Okay.
And you came and picked me.
You probably remember better than I do.
Yeah, so you came and picked me up from Noah's, and like it was either that I was going to get into the van, and my mom was there too, because my mom couldn't control me at that point.
And I snagged your phone right out of your hand.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought you were gonna fucking punch me.
Oh, I was about to.
Yeah.
I was so close, but I was like, I can't do that. I was pissed. It was
that was a hard time because I was trying to do the right thing, but I didn't feel like we were doing it right. I didn't, even at that point, I didn't feel like we were doing it right.
Well, I mean, the fact that my mom was sitting here like, do you, like coming to you, that's how you know that I was like super out of control. But yeah, so it like you guys basically were like either get in the van or we're calling the cops and your ass is going to fucking juvie. And I was like, fuck you guys. So so you guys took me back to your guys' house, and I didn't have a phone because you took my phone. And
it would be long before I gave in. I know that.
No, you didn't give it back to me.
Oh, and this is how you're telling me how you got out. Okay, go ahead.
So
you sneaky little shit.
I had some help. Don't blame Megan, but yeah, Megan. I asked her to use your phone. I was like, I just want to let him know that I'm okay, you know. And so
you lied to Megan.
I was like, come pick me up. This is the address. Come pick me up at like 10, 11 o'clock. I will be out there, like to make sure that everyone was asleep. I tried to get into her phone because I couldn't see if he was there or not. And so tried to get into her phone just to text him back. Couldn't do it. Finally, I see him. I'm like looking out the window and I see him pull up and I'm like slowly making my way down. And you know, Shay, he is such a light sleeper. He was sleeping on the couch downstairs and I open up the door and he wakes up and sits up. I said, don't say anything. I said, don't tell Dad. I'm leaving. He said, okay. Yeah. And I left.
When it comes to brothers and sisters, you're supposed to do that. So I'm not gonna. You know what? The way I see it is, at least you guys were getting along.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah. So how old was I when I came back to Colorado? Daryl's asking that.
I was 12.
12. Yeah.
Back. Well, 12. You had been here, but after moving back from California, I was 12.
Yeah.
And we had that like little thing up in Breckenridge and swimming. I remember swimming in the pool with Shay and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm stinking up the fucking room that night.
I have a picture of us three. And it's so funny because you two are like white, and I'm dark because I've been living in California for 2 years. It's just funny. It's kind of funny.
I still have your olive skin. I get it from
I don't
you.
know how you didn't get my darker skin. See, I tan really easy. So
Yeah, I do too. It's just a matter of actually getting out the fucking house to tan. Like I have a tan line that's lasted like fucking like 6 months at this point. I'm like, damn, I feel that tan line. Jeez.
you probably got burnt. Yeah, so I mean, I would get sober in 2016.
Was it
And even then, it would be tough. I mean, you and I have been talking now for 6 months, about there, maybe 9.
Back. It's been over a year. It was June of 2023.
Oh,
when I moved back is when I finally answered like your emails and stuff, I think.
so it's been a year already. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been over a year.
Okay, been over a year. That's why I asked, because I for some reason my brain doesn't,
Yeah, well, when I moved out to Oregon, I basically just like I was not answering your emails. I like cut you off. I cut a lot of people off. I
Yeah.
didn't have time to just kind of think, and I was pissed at you, especially after all that shit happened. I was like, I was done.
Yeah. And maybe we'll tell that story someday, but it won't be today. That's still too close to home.
No, yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, and we started slow. It was a little bit of how you doing, and then I believe I reached out and said, hey, we need to heal, and so what I want to do is give you a chance to sit down with me and say whatever the fuck you need to, and my job will be to keep my mouth shut until you tell me so. Yeah. Before we do that, just so Amber's saying, don't lie, this is scripted. Benjamin's like, I love the podcast, you two. So just want you to know it's going on there.
I didn't even see those.
I told you wouldn't be able to see them. That's why I put them up.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You'll see the ones off YouTube, but you won't see the Facebook ones.
Okay.
They're on YouTube also. I don't know. I act like I know what I'm talking about, but I don't. I don't. So, and you said yes, and I gave that chance to all the children. You were the only one that actually took it. I think the other ones are stood, and I think this is the major reason why, out of all the kids, you don't fear me. You never have. You have never feared me. Well, I've never done anything, I never beat you. I never yelled at you. I didn't feel like I had a right, honestly.
I think I was not necessarily like afraid of you. I was just like, I just didn't want like the pushback. Like I'm a recovering people pleaser, if you may.
Yeah, we understand that here.
So for me, it was like, I just didn't want anyone to be mad at me. And so, yeah, as much as I had a lot to say, I just didn't say it because to me at that point in time, it wasn't worth it. But now, like, I was at school for aesthetics when I was going to school for aesthetics.
Okay.
There was something that happened, and my teacher, Miss Allie, she's a fucking gangster. I love her. Okay. And she was, I don't know, we were talking about something, and she's like, well, what's going to happen? What the fuck are they going to do? And it just put this perspective in my mind. Like, I can still be respectful about what I have to say and stand up for myself. And Montana's helped me a lot with that as well. He's like, you need to fucking say something. Like, bitch, say something. Like,
advocate for yourself.
Like, why? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Get mad?
No. Okay. Get mad? Yeah.
That's fine. Let them get mad, So it's, at this point, if, any other siblings are not able to say something to you, then that's on them. I'm not scared to say shit to you. No. Because at the end of the day, like, you might get mad or like upset or defensive like anybody would if they're being called out, but
Sure.
you're always going to come back and be like, you know what? You're right.
I had to think on it a little bit. Yeah, sure. Sometimes we got to give people a little bit of time to think on what we said.
Yeah.
Because it took me a little bit of time to get to that answer myself too.
Yeah, me too.
But I also have to say that out of my 5 kids, I'm closest to you because we did what we did, because we cleared the air, and now we could be open and honest with each other, and we've gone through a couple of things, and it's just been like, nope, I'm like, oh, then I was assuming and I was wrong. I won't do it again.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we went past the boundary here a little bit. I'm not comfortable yet. But the fact that we get to say that without recourse or kind of pushback, and that's
without like a fight or like any like hostile feelings and stuff like that. Like last week or not, whatever weekend or whatever, over text, it was kind of like it seemed hostile, but text is so misconstrued. And so you called me and I was like, you were like, I just want you to hear my voice. And I was like, okay, I got you. I'm not mad at you.
Oh, and I want to put up what Daryl says here. That was a profound statement. She was worried about getting in trouble for our actions and what we did. Yeah.
What do you mean? What is that? What do you mean by that?
That you were worried about getting in trouble because of our actions. I'm not sure what story he's talking about, though. Huh?
Okay. Like as an adult, like because of your actions?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's true. I mean,
I think it was about the recovering people pleasing part.
So. Oh yeah,
there's
absolutely.
a 12-second lag. So
yeah. Okay, that makes more sense. Worried about getting in trouble for, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what happened a lot in my childhood. I would try to do something that I want to do and it was wrong in someone else's eyes. And so I would get reprimanded for that, whether it was, my mom, which bless her fucking heart, like she did the best that she could. And she's
absolutely, she did.
I love her to death, but not even that. People like Beth, when I was living with them, if I wasn't doing something that someone like as an adult, because I was a child, I was just trying to find validation. If I wasn't doing something that they didn't like, then I was reprimanded for it.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing something wrong. And so it created a people pleaser, attitude out of me. Like, I'm just going to make people fucking happy. And that, what that did? That just made me depressed. It made me turn into someone like I didn't know who I was. So
and that was because you were just trying to become something you weren't.
Absolutely.
Right? And a lot of people here I mean, all of us here understand that because in AA we tend to say that we were trying to drink like other people.
Yeah.
Really, we were just trying to fit in. Alcohol was just our solution to trying to fit in.
Yeah.
But what it came down to is we were just very lonely. And that means that, for me, since I had brothers and sisters, I was the black sheep of the family. And so I got blamed for shit Scott did all the time. I'm like, no, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. They're like, you always say you didn't do it. I'm like, well, I know I'm a little boy that cry wolf, but
yeah. Well, not even that, but also just being like, just certain people's actions from family. I mean, it happened at Allie's birthday. The only family member that showed up was Papa. Now, Bree, she definitely texted me and told me that they had like some sort of like marriage counselor, not counseling, but like whatever. She had texted me and told me that, hey, we're not going to make it, was trying to like hopefully make it, but since we're not able to make it, maybe we can do like a little play date. Like, was in communication with me. The rest of the family, apart from like Nana's just sick, but the rest of the family, like on Facebook, just like said they weren't coming and didn't say anything to me. Papa was the only one that showed up, apart from her friends.
that's because, and I'll let you know about your papa. And yeah, I think he
love
has a drinking problem, but he will give you the shirt off his back,
Oh, Papa's the shit. I love
and
Papa.
and then he'll give you the shirt off of his back, and when you're done with it, he will wash it for you and give it to you. He's
Yeah.
that
Well,
kind of
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
He was one of the reasons I stuck with the family for so long because I got along with Jim.
Yeah, Papa is not a person of many words, but
No,
you
but when
also
he says it, you better fucking listen.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Well,
smart. He's really smart, man. He taught me a lot of stuff.
yeah. And
He was one of those guys that I didn't have a dad, so he taught me certain things, like changing a tire and shit.
yeah. I mean, he's worked on plenty of my cars. Like
Yeah,
he's definitely helped me out. And, Uncle Guy wasn't able to come because like his foot, I don't know, something was going on. Like those, like Nana, Papa, and Uncle Guy, they will show up anytime that they can.
yeah.
The fact that I didn't get anything from Aunt Denise or Merle or them, it was just like a slap in the face. Like you can show
Well,
up for Khaleesi's birthday, but you can't show up for Allie's. Like I know Allie's not fucking stupid. She's 9 years old. She's smart as
but
hell.
no, she's very, and even for 9, she's fucking smart.
She's
She
smart
is,
as
and I
fuck.
can tell because she's very good at manipulating.
Yep, I know.
And that
Good
comes
old
through, and I only see it because I'm one, So,
yeah, it does hurt though. It just made me realize, even like my mom and Jeremy, they were not able to like come to the actual party, but we ended up going to breakfast that earlier that morning to kind of make up for it because that was the time that we could go. We had a fucking blast, and that was probably something that Allie will remember for the rest of her life.
absolutely.
Makes
She
her
will
feel.
also remember that nobody showed up to her party.
I
She'll
know,
remember that.
I've been crying about it.
It made when I was in 5th grade, I invited everyone in my class. One person showed up for about 20 minutes, and I didn't. That's why people are like, "What are you doing for your birthday?" I'm like, "Nothing."
Nothing.
Since I was 11, I just nah. You want to have a birthday? No, I don't have any friends. See, that's the life of an alcoholic. So when it comes to birthdays for my grandkids, I mean, I told you what I'm going to do because people aren't getting along.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to throw my own,
Yeah. Well, that
Um,
makes it even more special for her because then she gets 2 birthday parties.
yeah. Well, and I asked the girls, I asked Alice, I said, is it okay if we do yours and Khaleesi's? Because I wasn't at Khaleesi's either. But then not all of the people showed up for Orson's. So I'm like, can we include Orson? And they're like, yeah, we could do that. So now I'm just like, maybe we should just throw a birthday party for all the grandkids at one time.
Yeah, just one big birthday bash or something.
Yeah. But the one thing I am going to ask is no presents. If you want to give the kids presents, do it individually because it just causes,
Yeah, I mean, they both got enough.
they all have enough crap.
If you would see their room, oh my God. I need to go.
What I don't want is, one kid got 4 presents, another one got 2. Some people have different family members, and then then a family member that only knows one of the kids has to buy for 4 kids. See, and I don't want to do that to people. So just bring a good dish.
What kids will remember is who is there, who actually showed up, the memories. Yeah. It's not those presents. They're not going to remember this materialistic shit.
Yeah, that's just
year
the fun
from
part.
Now. Like they're really not. So honestly, like it was only her. I think it was like 5 friends that showed up, and then Papa. It was really low key. Like we went swimming and everything. Like she had a good birthday, but I know Allie. She is like
she's sensitive.
She's gonna suck it up to make everybody happy, but I know deep down that she saw that. And I actually had a conversation last night. She brought it up and she started crying. And I was like, baby, I know. But she was talking about Charlie, like Bree's kid.
Yeah.
1, 3. So they all go to school together.
Yeah.
I guess Charlie was being mean to her, just kind of like, well, when I have home lunch or school lunch, whatever the two, then I'll sit with you at lunch. But then if I have the other, I'm going to sit with these other people. And so that hurt Allie. And it was like a few days ago or last week or something like that. Charlie asked to sit with Allie and she said, no, thank you. I was like,
Well, no.
have
I'm
those
thinking the
boundaries.
answer is no. And I've never, even when I was drinking, and I was fighting, and I was fighting with my mom, I would always tell you kids, just because I'm fighting with my mom does not mean you are.
Yep.
And I always carried it that way.
Yep.
When it came to your parties, I didn't care who came because it was about you. Even when I was drinking, I was like that.
Yeah.
And I think I got that from my sobriety, being in recovery before.
Yeah, agreed. Like, I will never sit here and put my issues with someone, especially family, onto the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Allie was definitely asking, like, is like grandma and grandpa gonna be at the party? And I was like, I don't think so, probably not. And she was like, why? And I was like, well, there's just some stuff going on that you don't need to worry about. Like,
Yeah.
don't worry about it. They're still here for you, but they're not going to be at the party. Like, it's not something you need to worry about. Like, you fucking shitty ass fucking baby daddy. I've never talked shit about him in front of them, even though
Thank you for that.
bottom of the fucking barrel.
Yeah.
I've never
and I know when it came to me that your mother did the best also. So I don't.
Oh, she did. Yeah, she did.
Oh, there's times when I did shit, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, well, she was also at that point.
She didn't run around talking shit about me. I'm not that important.
No. She definitely held her tongue for sure. And she knew that I just needed to figure it out for myself because I'm hard-headed. So even if she did say something, I wasn't going to listen to it. I just had to figure it out for myself.
Yeah. Well, because the way we usually do this is, what it was like, what happened, what it's like now, and that's kind of what we've done here.
Yeah.
And we've touched on a lot of things. That, what would you do? You have anything that you would want to say to anybody else out there that's kind of in the position that you and I, like, let's say they're going through it, like back when you were younger. Like after I moved back from California, how would if you knew now what you knew then, what would you have done differently? I guess I could ask an easier question or
no, that's fine. I just need to think about it for a second. I mean, just being honest, I don't think I would have done anything differently.
Okay.
Because I think I was just trying to protect myself at that point. And at that point, Mom was
a street kid. Yeah.
Very wishy-washy. I think that I was, in all honesty, like through all of that and then going through 2 extremely abusive relationships and like all this fucking shit that I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
I look back on myself before I even got with Noah, and I was the type of person where I didn't say very much. I was very quiet, but I was always listening. I was always being aware. And I miss that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to get back to that. I think that at that point in time, I was just doing the best that I could do.
Yeah, with the information and the resources given you, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we didn't do some wrong things, but
yeah,
some of those wrong things were provided to us because we didn't have another choice.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I guess what I would say to myself, like, is just to keep being yourself and don't let anyone like deter you from that.
Yeah.
Keep being yourself, keep being that loving person that you are, kill them with kindness and just keep being you and let the shit that people say to you, that's on them, not you. You just gotta brush it off your shoulder.
Yeah, brush it off. Move on. That's right. Yeah. Pick your battles.
Absolutely.
A lot of what we go through, I think, I know at least for me, required some therapy. I needed some help. How did you go about finding your therapist? Because I know you're kind of picky. So how did you go about it?
Honestly, because I was on Medicaid at the time.
Okay.
I mean, I am now. I was supposed to have my therapy appointment last Friday, but she had a appointment, so
Okay.
it'll be the first one will be this Friday. I think
Yay.
I just kind of went through Medicaid,
Okay.
and like I think there's a number specifically with Medicaid. It's a 211, and you can get different resources. They'll help you find different resources in your area.
Okay.
So I think I called them to find a therapist in the area, and I think I was living in Lafayette at the time.
Okay.
Or Boulder or something like that. And so it was there's like a Sister Carmen's like a food drive in Lafayette, and there was like a mental health resource therapy type of thing right next to it. And so honestly, I just went in, did my intake, and went in for anxiety and depression just to kind of get started.
Sure.
And I had one therapist, and she ended up moving or like not working for them anymore. And then I met Holly, which still to this day is probably like, I wish I could still meet with her because
I have one of those therapists. Yeah. That would you just connect really good and it helped a lot.
It was like a conversation. It wasn't like, so how do you feel about that?
Yeah. I mean, you weren't BFFs, but you were treated equally. Those are the best.
It felt like a friend conversation, you know, getting advice from a friend. That's how it felt. And it was really nice. Anyway, so I ended up, you know, not going back. I can't remember what happened. And then after everything with Daniel, I was like, it's probably a good idea that I go back to therapy because I just went through a lot of bullshit.
Yep.
I had two different therapists. Both of them, I did not there just wasn't a connection. It was more of just like, hey, try this. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like there just wasn't any connection.
Yeah.
I was still in the mind frame of like, I can't like fire you as a therapist or like move to a different therapist because I was just too scared. I didn't want to hurt their feelings. And so I just
people pleasing.
Yeah, I was people pleasing for sure. So I ended up getting another therapist. She was like a art therapy person, and I was like, I'm not down for that right now. She did help me a little bit, and then we ended up moving to Oregon.
Yeah. Okay.
Stopped going to therapy, and now I'm back to it. So
good. Yeah.
You know what's funny is my therapist's name is Allie.
Oh shit.
She seems very laid back and chill. I think I'm gonna like her.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, you know, sometimes it takes a little effort to find the right one, but yeah, you can advocate for yourself. You know, if you have a good therapist, they will even say, hey, do you feel like you're getting anything out of this? Because I feel like somebody else might be able to help you better. I've done that. You bet. I know because, you know, I'm kind of rough. So, but
I guess the difference this time is like before going into therapy, I went for anxiety and depression, just kind of like tiptoe into it.
Yeah, put your toe in the water. Sure.
Yeah. So this time, doing the intake and everything, I told them I'm coming in for trauma therapy.
Yeah, you're like, okay, we're doing this.
Yeah.
See, the first time you went through it, now you know what to expect. So you're a little bit more comfortable, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I know what to kind of expect. Not necessarily. I don't know what to expect because trauma therapy is different from like going in for anxiety and depression and stuff.
It is.
It's different.
It is. Yeah.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
You know what?
I don't want to relive this shit. I want to shove it way deep down so I don't have to fucking think about it.
So trauma therapy, it can be scary. It can.
But
once you start to feel the healing, it becomes worth it.
Absolutely. And that's
EMDR is instant gratification.
Yeah.
I mean, it changes your mind immediately. At least it did for me. So yeah, trauma therapy is a different way. I don't know how it's done. I know my cognitive behavioral therapy, but other than that, I don't know. But it's a great program, for anybody. If you need help, man, reach out. Call 988. Call 211.
Yeah.
Call 911 if you fucking have to, man. Get in contact with us. I help more people than just alcoholics. I know, because alcoholics go through this stuff too.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the, there's times where we're over at like friend's house or something like that. And I'm always checking in on people. Like I can tell, like I'm an empath, so I can tell when something's off with someone.
Yeah.
And like the last time we were over at a friend's house, I kept checking in on one of these girls. I was like, "Are you good? Like, are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm good." I was like, "Okay."
Bullshit.
Well, you're saying that, but if you need someone to talk to, and Montana just being the way that he is, he's like, you just don't need to involve yourself in like the drama and stuff like that. I'm like, 100% understandable. I'm not trying to involve myself in any type of drama, but at the same time, you don't know what someone else is going through. And if I can be the person that you can like let off some fucking steam, I will always be that person.
Yeah.
Always.
There's a big difference between sympathy and empathy.
Yeah.
Sympathy means I'm going to cry with you. We're going to bawl. Wah, wah, wah. Okay. And that's what he thought you were going after. Empathy is different.
Yeah.
Okay. We're not using our feelings. Now, I might cry a little bit or whatever. We may heal, things like that. But most of my emotions are out of the way because I'm talking to you.
Yep. I'm feeling what you're feeling.
Yeah. And I don't need to be more than that.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, if I sit here and start crying and putting my own emotions into it, that's taking away from you being able to vent, and I'm not going to do that. But she finally, after like hours of like, passing, just like, "Hey, you good? You good?" She finally pulled me out to the by herself. So I was like, "Thank God, Jesus, about damn time."
Yeah.
Like telling me some stuff. I'm like, dude, you've gotta buck up and man up. Like I get what you're going through, but you gotta be honest with people, and you gotta like, doesn't mean I'm gonna have your fucking back. Like I have your back in saying like, you gotta be honest with people.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I want to tell him. I'm like,
I'm the kind of friend, as long as it doesn't really hurt anybody and you fuck up, I'll back you in public. But once we get in private, I'm going to chew your ass. I will. Because I don't believe in, you don't reprimand in public. No, you do that in private, but you encourage in front of others. That you do.
That's what I was doing. Not to go into too many details, but I just told her, I was like, if I was in your place and some dude was texting me that was a friend and being sexual like that, like you have to tell your man. It maybe not right now because it's late. There's like big emotions going on. At least get maybe some sleep, but eventually you got to tell him. Because if it were me, there's no way that I would hide that shit. Like you got to tell him.
Because the thing is, we see somebody go through something like, you got to report that. You got to report that. And then when it comes to you, even for me, people are like, you need to report. I mean, I'm like, I don't want to. I mean, confrontation's hard, but this is what I think of. If I don't, then the next person that comes along and they do that too, that's on me.
No, absolutely. And what I told her is like, if you don't say something, he's going to find out eventually, and then it's going to be even worse.
And then, why didn't you tell me? And there isn't going to be any valid reason.
Yep.
There won't be a valid reason.
Did anything wrong. It was just like one of their like homeboys texting her, and I'm like, that's stupid. That's shady as hell. Like you have to, like the fact that you're telling me that you don't want to tell him says a lot.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna be here for you, but at this point, I don't want to.
I don't want you around my man.
Yeah, well, not even that. Like because me and Montana are super open with each other, but I wasn't even worried about that. It was more of just like birds of a feather flock together.
That's right.
If you're showing me your true colors, I'm going to remember
that.
Yep.
I'm gonna remember. Yeah.
So as much as I love you, I wish you the best, but I don't want to be your friend.
Exactly.
Because if you're saying this about your own man, then what are you going to hide from me?
Yeah. Well, then what are you? Well, it's like if somebody comes to me and talks shit about somebody else, I don't
That
trust
means
them
they're talking
anymore.
shit about you to someone else.
Yeah. As soon as they leave and turn, you're just the next person in line to talk shit about.
Yeah.
Because then they'll go to that. Oh, you should hear Dion. They were talking about the shit about this person that they were talking.
Yep. That's
All
why
right.
we're friends.
So we've hit the top of the hour. And I think this went phenomenally well.
Yeah.
And I think we should do more of them. So when we're done, we'll have a little bit more of a discussion. I think of once a month, just to kind of, because we're both busy until we get into a rhythm. But I think this worked out really well. I really do. A lot of people enjoy. I got more compliments from this than I have any other podcast I've done. So.
I haven't seen any of the comments other than on this one. So I don't know, but I mean, if there's any feedback, I would love to hear it.
Well, it'll be on Facebook, and what I will do is I will tag you in it. So
Okay.
I'll tag you in it so that you can see the comments.
Agreed to which part?
He agreed that it was a good podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You just got to remember what you said 10 seconds ago.
I did. ADHD. Sorry. We also be talking about like things in 30 seconds. So like agreed to which one.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. Any words of wisdom that you want to part with, Kara?
Just be yourself. Don't let people change you. Fuck them.
Be your authentic self. Search for your authentic self. I absolutely agree that. And then be that person unapologetically.
Yep.
Okay?
Absolutely.
And then the next step is, if they don't love you for who you are, it is not unconditional love, and they are not to be around.
It wasn't supposed to be. If people can't love you for who you are, like,
then they do not belong in your life.
If you don't have a hater a day, you're doing something wrong.
There. No. All right. Thanks everybody for being here.
Thank you.
Thank everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I love you.
Me too.
You know I do.
Love you too.
Peace out.
Peace out.